Welcome back to our channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Eric. And today we're shifting our focus to the world of freelance work, a topic that's become more popular than ever.
That's right. In this episode, we're going to explore some key vocabulary around freelancing, discussing what it means to work independently, how to weigh the pros and cons, and more, all in our friendly American style.
Today, we'll be covering 5 important terms: freelance, the pros and cons of STH, be better off, accountable to SB, and insight into STH.
We'll dive deep into each word with detailed explanations, multiple examples, and practical scenarios, so you can use these expressions naturally in conversations about freelance work. Let's hit the road.
Let's start with our first term, freelance.
Freelance.
Freelance can function as a verb, noun, or adjective, and it refers to working independently rather than being employed by a single company.
For example, you might say, I freelance as a graphic designer, meaning you work on projects for various clients instead of having a permanent position.
As a noun, it can be used like this: she is a successful freelance writer, indicating that she offers her writing services independently.
And as an adjective, you could say, he accepted a freelance assignment for a short-term project, describing the nature of the job.
Working freelance gives you the freedom to choose your projects, set your own schedule, and work from anywhere, but it also comes with challenges like managing your own finances and not having a steady paycheck.
It's important to understand that when you decide to work freelance, you're essentially your own boss, which requires a lot of discipline and self-motivation.
For instance, you might share, I decided to go freelance after years of working in an office, and now I enjoy the flexibility and creative freedom.
That really shows the appeal of freelancing for many professionals looking for a different work-life balance.
Next, let's move on to the phrase the pros and cons of STH.
The pros and cons of STH.
This phrase is used to describe the advantages and disadvantages of a particular situation, decision, or action.
For example, you might say, before choosing to work freelance, it's important to weigh the pros and cons of the lifestyle.
This means that you need to consider both the benefits, like flexibility and independence, and the challenges, such as inconsistent income and lack of benefits.
Another example could be, we discussed the pros and cons of remote work during the meeting, and the team agreed that while it offers freedom, it also requires strong self-discipline.
Using this phrase helps you break down complex decisions into clear points, allowing for a balanced discussion.
It's a great way to organize your thoughts when you're trying to decide if a freelance career is right for you.
Imagine you're advising a friend. You might be better off considering the pros and cons of freelancing before making a final decision.
Exactly. This phrase invites a comprehensive evaluation of both the benefits and drawbacks of any option.
Now let's discuss the phrase be better off.
Be better off.
Be better off means that someone would be in a more favorable or beneficial situation if they chose a particular option.
For example, you might say, if you want more flexibility and creative freedom, you'd be better off working freelance, suggesting that freelancing might suit you better.
Another example is, you might be better off saving your money instead of spending it impulsively, which means you'd be in a more advantageous position by saving.
In the context of freelance work, you might say, after evaluating the pros and cons, I realized I'd be better off freelancing than working a 9-to-5 job.
This phrase is useful when you want to advise someone on making a decision that will improve their situation.
It underscores the idea that one option offers more benefits than another, helping to guide choices in a practical way.
Next up is the phrase accountable to SB.
Accountable to SB.
Accountable to SB means that you are responsible for your actions and must report to someone, often in a professional or organizational context.
For example, as a freelancer, you might say, even though I work independently, I'm accountable to my clients for delivering quality work on time.
This implies that while you have the freedom of freelancing, you must still meet deadlines and maintain professional standards because your clients rely on you.
Another example is, in a team project, every member is accountable to the project manager, which shows that each person must justify their work to someone in charge.
Using accountable to SB in conversation helps highlight the importance of responsibility and reliability in any work environment.
It's an essential concept, especially in freelance work, where your reputation depends on being dependable and responsive to your clients' needs.
You might advise a friend, when choosing a freelance career, always remember that you're accountable to your clients, so maintaining high standards is key.
That's right. It's all about balancing independence with professional responsibility.
Finally, let's look at the phrase insight into STH.
Insight into STH.
Insight into STH means having a deep understanding or clear perception of a particular subject or situation.
For example, you might say, the workshop provided valuable insight into the challenges of freelance work, meaning it gave you a better understanding of the industry.
Another example is, her blog offers excellent insight into digital marketing trends, which means her writing gives readers a clear view of current practices and future possibilities.
You could also say, reading industry reports gives you insight into market dynamics and helps you make informed decisions, emphasizing the importance of knowledge and awareness.
When you use insight into STH, you are communicating that you have a deep or nuanced understanding of a complex issue.
It's a valuable expression that shows you're not just aware of surface-level details, but you really grasp the underlying factors at play.
Imagine discussing freelance work with a peer. This guide offers remarkable insight into managing client relationships as a freelancer, which adds credibility to the information shared.
It reinforces the idea that understanding the finer details can lead to more successful and informed decisions in any field.
And that brings us to the end of our detailed lesson on freelance work vocabulary.
Today we explored 5 key terms: freelance, the pros and cons of STH, be better off, accountable to SB, and insight into STH.
We provided in-depth explanations and multiple examples to help you understand how to use these words naturally when discussing freelance work and making important decisions.
Whether you're considering a freelance career or already working independently, these words will help you articulate your experiences and evaluate your options more clearly.
Remember, understanding the pros and cons of any decision, knowing when you be better off, choosing one path over another, and being accountable to SB are essential skills in the world of freelance work.
And gaining insight into STH can provide you with the knowledge you need to succeed and grow in your career.
We hope this lesson empowers you to communicate more effectively about your freelance journey and helps you make informed choices about your career path.
Thank you for joining us today, and we encourage you to practice these expressions in your daily conversations.
Keep expanding your vocabulary, stay curious, and remember, every new word is a step toward greater clarity and success.
Until next time, happy freelancing and happy learning.
Bye for now.
See you in our next episode.